If the Mullaperiyardam were to break, the consequences would be catastrophic, both in the short term and the long term. In the immediate aftermath, the most severe impact would be massive flooding. The breach would release millions of liters of water downstream, causing rapid inundation of nearby towns and villages. Areas such as Kumili and Thekadya in Kerala, along with parts of Tamil Nadu like Madurai, would face severe flooding. The suddenness of the flood would leave little time for evacuation, resulting in widespread destruction of life and property. Along with the immediate flooding, there would be significant loss of life. Those living in low-lying areas near the dam, including both urban and rural populations, would be at the greatest risk. The powerful flow of water would devastate infrastructure, including roads, bridges, homes, and commercial buildings, rendering the affected areas virtually unrecognizable. The destruction would also disrupt communication and power networks, making it difficult for emergency services to operate effectively and delaying rescue efforts. The environmental impact would be equally disastrous. The sudden release of water would erode soil, destroy vegetation, and disrupt local ecosystems. The rivers and streams downstream would become contaminated with debris, pollutants, and potentially hazardous materials, significantly affecting water quality and aquatic life. This contamination would extend to the water supply, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases and posing severe health hazards to both humans and animals. In the longer term, the consequences would linger. The people displaced by the flooding would face prolonged hardships, as rebuilding homes and livelihoods would take years. Agricultural land, which is heavily dependent on the dam for irrigation, would be destroyed, leading to the loss of crops and economic ruin for many farmers. It would take considerable time for affected communities to rebuild, and some agricultural areas might never fully recover. The loss of agricultural productivity would have a lasting effect on the local economy. The long-term economic impact would be felt across multiple sectors. Businesses, industries, and farms that depend on the region's resources would experience severe disruptions. The costs of rebuilding infrastructure and providing humanitarian relief would be enormous, straining both state and federal budgets. The environmental recovery would be slow, with ecosystems struggling to restore themselves in the wake of such widespread destruction. The loss of biodiversity and disruption to plant and animal life would have long-lasting ecological consequences. The flooding could also lead to long-term contamination of local water sources. Rivers and lakes downstream from the dam would be polluted, making it difficult to restore safe drinking water access. It would take years to rebuild the water treatment infrastructure, and the risk of disease outbreaks would remain high. Moreover, the disruption of water supplies could affect farming, sanitation, and public health in the region for an extended period. The region might also become more susceptible to future natural disasters. The breach of the dam could alter the landscape, increase the risk of landslides, and lead to further flooding in the coming years. This heightened vulnerability would be compounded by the slow process of rebuilding and the lack of resources to prepare for future disasters. The trauma of such an event would also have lasting psychological effects, with many survivors facing mental health challenges, such as PTSD, anxiety, and depression, from the devastation they experienced. Lastly, there would likely be legal and political ramifications from the dam's collapse. Given the ongoing tensions between Kerala and Tamil Nadu over the dam's safety, the breach could lead to prolonged legal battles and increased political pressure for accountability. The central government might face scrutiny regarding the safety of aging infrastructure across the country, leading to broader discussions about dam maintenance, disaster preparedness, and public safety. In summary, the breaking of the Mullaperiyar Dam would trigger an immediate humanitarian crisis, with massive loss of life, infrastructure, and environmental damage. In the long term, the region would face prolonged economic hardship, ecological recovery, and health risks. The consequences would reverberate through the lives of those affected, with many people struggling to rebuild their lives and communities for years to come. Thank you for watching. We have some amazing videos coming up, so stay tuned and make sure to hit the subscribe button.